Bum 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 ba da da.
How many thoughts do you think a person has each day? On average, you will have about 60,000 thoughts. From this number, how many of those thoughts are positive, negative, or neutral? How many of those thoughts have any value or relevance at all? As people, we think a lot. Our experiences, values, beliefs, and opinions have shaped the world we live in today, and it all begins with only a single thought. Thought is truly powerful. It's one of the many factors that help to determine our happiness, and it's a determining factor of our strength. Out of these 60,000 thoughts, which thoughts do you use towards your happiness and strength? Because humans have the tendency to fish for the thoughts that drag them down, and out of these 60,000 thoughts, the National Science Foundation says that 80% of those thoughts are negative. 80%. In knowing how to take control of your mind, you can sharpen your mind to become more understanding, to get a better grasp of concepts such as self-love, and to clear your mind. Okay, so who here loves to-do lists? I will have you know that I am an avid lover of to-do lists. I have a whole pad of sheets of colored paper with cute little designs for each list. For me, being able to plan out my day gives me a sense of satisfaction because I know exactly what I'm doing. For you, it might be a way to take control over your life or ensure that you get the things that need to get done, done. Not only do we like planning our days, but a lot of us like planning out our lives. Finish high school and go to university. Graduate from university with a degree. Get yourself a full-time job. Find a lover. Settle down in a house. Have kids, and so on. Except when things don't go to plan, we often get frustrated and angry about it. I have had days where I am up to my neck in work and assessments, so I set out a plan for my day to give each subject time and fit in room for music practice. Except someone makes an unannounced visit to my house, and I find myself having to talk with them and keep them company for half a day while I'm silently screaming because I've got work to do, but now I've lost time. This is the nature of life, a constant state of flux where the only thing that's invariable is change. Trying to force structure onto a world that's ever-changing and chaotic can be an endless battle. It's important to realize that we have no control over the spontaneous and random changes that can happen. And if we build a strong foundation that allows us to realize this and understand this, we don't have to get frustrated or angry over change plans. It's not bad to plan, but it's bad to stay fixated on it. As a high schooler, I understood this through my school assessment results. I had a perfect streak of excellences, and the naive year 11 me hoped to keep it that way. But then I got a merit, and I thought, it's okay, it's only one merit. I can cover it up by trying to get more excellences. But then I got a not achieved, a fail. It wasn't even a passing grade. I was so frustrated at myself and I even cried. I felt like my efforts to do well hadn't paid off. Even though I was doing well in all my other subjects, I completely disregarded all that hard work for just one bad grade. Maintaining anything at a high level is extremely unreasonable. The nature of life simply doesn't allow for that to happen because in every instant, everything is always changing. But not only do things change for the worse, they can change for the better. I decided to reset that assessment 1 year later, and I found myself facing the exact same paper that I had failed the year before. Except this time, I had a different set of knowledge and a different attitude. I had built a strong foundation that allowed me to see past that bad grade and to realize, yes, that sucks, but I have the ability to move on and to try again. So when I sat that assessment, I had nothing more to lose from a fail, and the only direction now was up. My result was excellence. Every section was perfect with a smiley face with a comment. This was amazing for me, but obviously in life, you aren't always going to come back from your mistakes. It's learning how to take control of your mindset that will help you to move on. Being able to overcome the challenge that I had previously failed was such an exhilarating moment for me because I had proved something to myself. It wasn't the fact that I could get an excellence from a failed assessment. It was the fact that I had improved myself and could face the challenges confidently because I had changed my mindset. A lot of us will be faced with many different challenges through many different forms throughout our life, and it all comes down to how we improve ourselves for the better. And my way of dealing with these changes and challenges is with something I like to call AAA insurance. 3 A's: accept, adapt, and advance. Number 1, accept. Accept that these changes are part of life and that this is just the nature of things. Understand and don't let anger overcome you. Number 2, adapt. Adapt to these changes. Be flexible and work around it. Be like the water in a stream and simply move past the rocks. Number 3, advance. To advance is to move forward. Don't be tied back by your mistakes and allow yourself to take a step in the right direction. This is my version of life insurance, so keep it in your heads. Accept, adapt, and advance. This insurance is quite versatile because it can also be applied to the concept of self-love. Accept yourself regardless of any imperfections. Adapt your thought process for how you view yourself, and advance with a stronger relationship with yourself. Self-love is something that I feel has been looked at rather superficially. You see people doing self-love days where they go and get their nails and hair done and go out shopping for clothes, except self-love isn't necessarily something that's materialistic. For some people, having a spa day is loving themselves because they're taking the time to de-stress and to relax. For me, self-love is sometimes a long walk in the afternoon. And these are changes that are not on the outside. They're not external features such as appearance, they're internal features. It's about the inside and how you treat yourself. Self-love is essentially a makeover of your mind. It's an important factor to being able to strengthen our control over our mind because too easily and too often we drag ourselves down and overly criticize ourselves. We fill our heads with self-deteriorating thoughts and delve deep into our mistakes and failures, and self-love becomes a really hard ask. The way I have found a new angle to look at this is through something I like to call the artist's self-critique. When you draw something, it's almost extremely hard to compliment your own drawing. Has anyone else experienced that? Let me show you through this drawing of Winnie the Pooh. You may look at Winnie here and think that this is a work of art, but I look at it and think that it's absolutely awful. And that's because I'm the one who drew it. I can see all the places I went wrong and made mistakes. Except you may not see that. You may see a great piece of art even though I criticize it as the artist. In the same way, only I know my regrets and my mistakes and only you know your own. Except we don't see each other's. You see and accept me for what you see, and any faults or imperfections I might have are irrelevant to you. Except we are so harsh to ourselves not only when we draw. If you saw someone who was sad over a mistake they made, you wouldn't bring it up over and over again to make them regret it endlessly. We wouldn't do that because that's just flat out horrible. If you saw someone who is tired and obviously sleep deprived, we wouldn't tell them that they shouldn't sleep and that they should continue studying. Except time and time again, we do this to ourselves. If we make a mistake or do something we regret, we beat ourselves over it for days and days on. But we wouldn't do the same to someone else, so why do we do it to ourselves? This is what I like to think of as the artist's self-critique. Treat yourself like you're someone else. Treat yourself like a really good friend and love yourself like you're the best person in the world. So if I'm really tired and I still have work to do and I find myself thinking I could fit in another hour or two of work, I stop. I reevaluate myself and recognize that I'm tired. And trying to fit in more work is just inefficient. I wouldn't do the same to someone else, so I'm not going to do the same to myself. And if you make mistakes along this process, be grateful, for it may teach you something valuable in the long run. Mistakes help you learn, and they're just another path of going about life where you learn and understand things that you wouldn't have on a perfect and flawless path. It helps train your mind to produce thoughts that aren't so toxic and instead give reassuring, positive, and kind thoughts to yourself. Learn to dilute your mind and filter it of negativity. What cleaning and clearing your mind means is something I would like to visualize for you through this glass of water. This is your mind. Now, this blue dye here represents stress from things around us: work, relationships, tests, life. That comes in and discolors the mind like so. Now you can see the mind has become convoluted. But it doesn't stop there, because we feel anger, negativity, and frustration at ourselves and at things that don't go the way we want it to. I'm going to show that through red, which seems fit for these aggressive emotions. The mind becomes murky. It's hard to see and think clearly now because you've got these emotions clouding your mind. Green represents expectations. Expectations for yourself, expectations for others, expectations for how you think your life should play out as. It's great to have a dream and to want something for yourself, but we must not let these expectations drag us down if we don't meet these standards to a T. Because the nature of life is that things are constantly changing, and so are we. By having these expectations, we're only adding to the mess of the mind you can now see. This is what your mind looks like if you have multiple problems going on in your life. A lot of us think too much, and most of the time that gets the better of us. If someone says something that could be seen as condemning or possibly insulting, we take that thought and we magnify it. We stick to that thought, never letting go, and keep producing more negative thoughts to add to it. It's like having a cute puppy that maybe barked at you once or bit your hand, but aside from that, it was harmless. But you think, oh no, the dog bit me, it doesn't like me. Or now it's barking at me, I'm convinced it hates me. Or it won't stop following me around, it's out there to get me. We take that one thought and we catalyze it into all of these other negative thoughts. So while someone else looks at the dog and thinks, oh, what a cute puppy, you look at the same dog and see a bloodthirsty, demonic monster of a dog coming to get you. This is because we think way too much. We are constant overthinkers and overcomplicators and let our thoughts control how we act and what we see. But I'm not here to tell you to stop thinking. I'm here to tell you to watch your thinking. Watch these thoughts arise in your head and be aware of them. Realize that you were hurt or angry, but you don't need to be overcome by it. We don't want those negative thoughts to consume our day. This takes practice, and meditation is a great tool to practice this with. Now, meditation is mentioned by many people as a solution for your problems, and it is, except most of us don't know how to use meditation effectively. There are many meditation techniques out there, and I'm going to be talking about a simple one that works for me, and it might for you. You sit cross-legged and your eyes are closed. Preferably, don't have anything playing in the background. Silence is good for meditation so that your mind isn't already wandering to other sounds. But if you are meditating and you hear sounds such as people talking, birds chirping, or cars driving by, that's fine. Make them tools of your meditation. Be aware of them. Be aware of your surroundings. But where you must concentrate your mind is on your breath. Be aware of your breathing. Be aware of your breath as it comes in and then as it comes out. I associate this sensation of inhaling and exhaling with waves as they go out and then come back again. Or sometimes it's like watching a pendulum swing. When it rises, that's the in-breath. When it comes back down, that's the out-breath. Bear in mind though, this is a slowed pendulum so that you aren't out of breath with a pendulum that's going very fast. This repetitive notion of up and down, back and forth, in and out, is what helps sharpen your mind if you can maintain unwavering concentration. But the truth is, you're probably not going to maintain unwavering concentration. You're sitting there and your mind begins to wander elsewhere. This happens to me all the time, so trust me, you are not alone. I might be focusing on my breath really well for a while, but I'm thinking, my room's messy. I should probably go clean it up after this. Or tomorrow's a Monday. I need to go iron my school shirt. Except you are in the perfect mind frame to see that thought. Hold that thought of whatever it may be. Recognize that this is a distraction and let the thought peacefully pass by. Don't fight your thoughts and sit there thinking, I'm not going to think. Because once again, I don't want you to stop thinking. Simply watch your thinking. Watch these thoughts and realize your mind's focus has been diverted and come back to your breath. The ability to watch the thought come, to recognize it, and to let it go is how you can stop negative thoughts from festering in your daily life. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're close to breaking point, it's a really stressful setting and you just want to go punch a wall or something, stop. Watch your mind. Put your mind into the same state it's in when you're meditating and watch what emotions are clouding your mind. Watch what color dye the world is putting into your cup of water. Watch, and don't let these emotions and thoughts stick to you. Let it pass by like free-flowing water. With the sharpened mind from practicing meditation, your mind will stay clear through these obstacles and challenges. I could try to add all the colored dye in the world except the water would stay clear. The water would stay clear because with these practices, you have AAA insurance. You will accept, adapt, and advance in such a way to avoid getting your mind convoluted. You will use this concept of the artist's self-criticism to reduce the negativity being added and to form a better relationship with yourself. Keep a conscious, aware mind so that this water stays clear, and it's not your mind that has control over you, but you who has control over your mind. Thank you.
Bum 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 ba. Ta-da!